Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ask an Atheist. And my guest for tonight is Glenda Jordan. Glenda, how you doing?
I'm so great, Ethan. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. A little stressed, but doing good.
Yeah, you know what? Same. I say that I'm great. There's a lot going on that's not great, but I'm here. I'm alive. We're all good.
All right, well, hopefully we can both stay focused because my ADHD is in like full force right now.
It's okay. Listen, I vibe with that.
So before we get into questions, can you give just a brief background about yourself?
Sure. I I grew up just south of Nashville, Tennessee, on a farm in a town called Murfreesboro. And I was indoctrinated in evangelical dominionist Southern Baptist Christian faith from infancy, and was in church 3 days a week and did all the mission trips and activities and GAs and youth group and all that good stuff, Bible drill competition, which I was very good at, actually. And then when I was 19, I left the faith after a period of deconstruction and went to art school and officially became a woke libtard feminist. Those little indoctrination chambers.
Myself too.
Yeah, right. So then I got my degree in painting. I was in college for 5 years, lived in Europe for a while, and when I was living in Europe, I became a entertainer. While I was there, I started doing big fire performances and joined like a little circus conclave while I was over there. And then decided then that I wanted to be an entertainer. So I finished my degree when I came back to the States, and then packed up my minivan and my cat, and I drove out to Las Vegas, where I have lived and worked as an entertainer since 2013. Just been living my absolute best life since then. So I work full time as an entertainer. I do go-go dancing, modeling, character work. I work as a visual artist. I am in my very messy studio right now. I volunteer for Recovering from Religion. What else do I do? Lots of stuff. I don't know. It's kind of a Jill of all trades, creative industry.
Same. I'm an entertainer as well, but we'll get to that later. If I heard you correctly, you said you were an evangelical dominionist?
Dominionist, yeah. It's a very important word.
I've never heard of that before. Can you expand on that?
Right. So dominionism is actually one of the more important words in the discussion about religion in general, that like dominionists don't really know about that word, or they don't really consider themselves that word. So dominionist means that God's law above all law, right? Like, for example, like in any gay rights,
right?
It does not matter. It does not matter if you like living in America, like there's supposed to be separation of church and state. And so nobody else has to follow like your religious law. God's law is above any human law. So you're going to vote based on that. So it doesn't, for like, again, for Christians, like it doesn't matter that I don't get gay married. It only counts if you don't get gay married as well. Like you can't have that, even though you are not a Christian as well. Like I have to make sure that you are not allowed to do the thing that my religion says is unethical. Abortion is one of those things, like any of those rules. So dominionist me, and if there was a law that like praying in school, like a lot of dominionists believe that you should be able to like lead prayer in school, even though that violates separation of church and state. It doesn't matter because God's law is more important than any human made law. So we were a dominionist faith. Yeah.
So were you by chance an old earth creationist or new earth creationist?
So that's a kind of an interesting question, because while I was raised in more of an old earth creationist church, young earth creationist church, my parents are wonderful people. You probably know about my mother, Glenda Jordan. She
Absolutely. I've worked with her.
And my father, while he is still a conservative Christian, he's like not a Trump supporter. So at least I like consider that a win. But my father is a pilot and an engineer, and they are both extremely intelligent, smart people. And my parents did not tell me that the earth was only 5,000 years old. In our little version of the faith, like we believed in all of the kind of fundy stuff of like Jesus is the only way to get into heaven, and you have to follow God's law and all of those things. But that we believed in fossil records and like the earth was billions of years old. The mental gymnastics you do is just like, in my mind, I think it was that each day when, God created the earth, and then each day was a million years or a billion years. So when he says like, on day 1, I made the sun, it's like, that was a billion years or whatever.
Oh, okay. I've
whatever.
never heard that before.
Yeah, it's just like whatever mental gymnastics you have to like engage with to make it work. It doesn't, it's just how we made that work, I guess. But so yeah, my parents were not like anti-science in that way. Like there was no let's pray instead of going to the hospital. It was absolutely, we get vaccinated, although this was before kind of the anti-vaccine movement really took off. But like you go to the hospital when you need to. We believe in science, we believe in engineering, we believe in physics. Like that was there.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So at what age did you start deconstructing, and what prompted it?
Probably, I started having problems with stuff when I was around, probably the earliest was, I don't know, like 10 or 11 or 12. Like becoming aware of like homosexuality. This is like obviously a decade before I came out as queer myself. I didn't even know. I was very much in a compulsory heterosexuality type of person. I did not come out as queer until after I literally had sex with women. Then I was like, oh, I like that. Oh, that means I'm not straight. Okay. I'm not even kidding. That was that journey. I started having problems around that age, like 10, 11, 12. I just took issue with a lot of the ethics of the Bible. Like it's very common to hear this, but the problem with like Sodom and Gomorrah, like Lot and his daughters, was really rough for me to deal with. I didn't understand it, and it was very frustrating. And there was no satisfying answer, right? Like you have these questions and you ask your Sunday school teachers, and the answers they give you are fucking dog shit, right? So they're dog shit. Like there's no satisfying thing, because there is nothing that can excuse egregious bigotry or violence or any of those things. Right. And so Lot and his daughters was a really bad one. I really struggled with the story of Job. That one honestly might have been one of the more frustrating ones for me, the story of Job. And then the biggest thing that was the biggest deal that happened that really pushed me out of the faith was when I was 14, 15-ish, maybe more like 15 going on 16, I think. Because it was 15 going on 16, because I was a freshman in high school. The summer between 8th grade and becoming a freshman in high school, my family, we do bicycle rides across Iowa every year with like a couple thousand other people. And I was on my bicycle, right? Yeah, it's called Ragbri. My family does a bunch of weird stuff. So because we were all out there. So I was doing this bicycle ride across Iowa, and I was on my bike in the middle of Iowa summer. And there are a lot of hog farms. And I grew up on a farm myself, but like an industrial factory hog farm is a really intense thing to experience. And you're not even experiencing it. You're like quite a distance away from it, but you can smell it miles away, right? And I was aware of factory farming practices. It was, Inconvenient Truth would come out. I can't remember when that movie came out. But as there was more awareness and knowledge of factory farming and the impact on animal welfare and on sustainability. And so like the little nagging thought came into my brain of like, if you think it sucks to be on your bike in this hot sun, can you imagine like living in that warehouse over there? And that was your whole life. And I know I was a big animal lover. So again, growing up on a farm, like I loved animals. And so I started wrestling with like not being able to ethically justify eating animals for meat if like I didn't need to, because I knew that I had access to like food sources that I could be a strong, healthy person. And I was looking at like biblical, like reading stuff in like Psalms and which has some beautiful parts to it, and like Ecclesiastes, right? Like there's some parts in there that's really about being a humanitarian and being kind and compassionate and giving people grace and always like standing up to bullies. Like those verses are in the Bible, like they are in there, as well as a bunch of other dog shit things.
It sounds like you know your Bible well.
Oh yeah, well I did Bible drill competition, so I was a Bible drill champion. Like I very much knew I always try to have my Bible like ready
So
to.
when you say Bible drill, what exactly would that entail?
So you memorize you like have a competition Bible, which is like a standard, it's a set number of pages, like it's printed. You all have to have the same Bible, because otherwise it would be like verses would be on a different page or whatever, like depending on the size of the font, that type of thing. So you and a bunch of other little Christian kids all stand in a row in a room, and you hold the Bible like this. Where is my Bible? I always try to keep it. I'm wedding prepping, so I have so much crap in my. I thought I had it. Oh, I got it. Okay. All right. This is my. Oh wow, it's actually really falling apart. But now this was not. Oh, it's literally ripping in two. This was not a competition Bible. This was just my. My personal. I show that it's highlighted actually to prove. Yeah, this was just like my personal Bible. Okay. So you stand like this, and somebody says like Romans 18:12, and so you flip to the Bible, or you flip to the verse, you find, and you're the first person to find it, and then there's a line of tape on the floor, so you put your foot over the line, and then you're able to be like, first, got it, I got it. Like you have to be the forward. Or they'll tell you like a verse, like the shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept, right? So they'll say Jesus wept, and you have to say that's Acts 22:5. I don't even remember which verse that is, because I have done a really good job of deleting a lot of that information out of my brain. Like I used to be able to Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st. Like I used to be able to do all the order within like 12 seconds. I can't do it anymore because I've made room for better trivia knowledge. Anyway, so that was Bible drill, and I was reading my Bible and verses about humanitarianism and grace and being a good person, and it would not surprise you to learn that I am autistic, but this is like an autistic logic problem to me of it was a simple ethics choice of, if I can be strong and healthy without eating meat, it is unethical for me to consume the flesh of sentient beings that can and do experience pain and suffering, as well as the ecological impact. Because remember, Inconvenient Truth, I can't even remember if it came out before I was vegetarian or not, but the United Nations came out with a report that was about, do you know anything about the trophic pyramid? Do you know what that is?
I do not.
So the trophic pyramid is like how resources get cycled into other resources. Like in order to create 1 pound of beef, you have to have 500 gallons of water and 200 pounds of grain. That's I'm sure that's wrong, but you get the idea, right? So like exactly. Bigger, if you think of a pyramid, like you've got this many resources to funnel to get these things. So it is less sustainable and efficient to it's essentially like cut out the middleman. Instead of having 1 pound of beef, we could have this much water and this much grain, and that feeds a lot more people and it's a lot more sustainable. So I felt like, as a steward of the earth that God created for us, it just, all of these things were coming in like, I have to be as Christ-like as possible. And that means every choice I make in my life, every single choice, if I'm taking this seriously, which I was, every single choice in my life, I have to choose compassion. I have to choose grace. I have to choose doing the right thing, even if it inconveniences me, even if it is uncomfortable for me, even if it's not something I want to do, because that's my needs are lesser than what God desires, right? Right. This was very logical and simple for me. And it was a very intense thing to right, I guess I'm going to stop eating meat now. That sucks. Cause I sure do like it, but I just can't justify it. It doesn't, right. I couldn't. And I prayed about it and I wrestled with it. So I came to this conclusion. I was not evangelical with my conclusion, and that I did not believe that other people were sinful or wrong for not doing the action I was doing. It was simply this is just what I feel God is leading me to do. And I don't feel like I can be a good Christian if I don't do this. It's really just simple for me.
Right.
You would have thought that being a young teenager and having this level of dedication to the faith would have been met with wow, I really appreciate that you are this dedicated to your theology, right? That you're reading your Bible and that you want to be a good person and that you're making these choices based out of compassion and grace and kindness. Would you believe that is not the reaction that I got? Oh boy, I might as well have just like put on some devil horns and said "Hail Satan," because it was not okay at all. It was seen as like sinful and liberal, which was just as bad as being sinful, right? Like, because it was seen like liberal. Anything liberal was seen as bad. Recycling was a satanic conspiracy to get kids into earth worship.
I've never heard that before.
No, yeah, that was told. Yeah, Earth Day is, yes. Earth Day is paganism, because anything dealing with anything progressive, recycling is what those tree-hugging hippies want to do. That meant anti-Christian, anti-America.
Whoa.
Yes.
That is a new one.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And that I didn't understand either. It's like, why is recycling bad? I would think preserving our resources and taking care of the planet that God made for us is a good thing. I also spent my childhood, I went to almost all 50 states before I was like 15 or 16. I had already been to so many different national parks. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling. We did a lot of I did the Lewis and Clark Trail. We followed the Oregon Trail. We did some of the Trail of Tears Trail, where you like follow along the path and you stop at museums on the way and you go to interpretive centers and attend lectures. And that is what I spent several of my childhood summers doing. And national parks are fucking awesome, right? Like, if you've ever been to one, they're amazing. It's one of the most beautiful things about this country, right? And I also grew up outside. Like, I grew up on a farm. We had 100 acres of trees and ponds, and I thought it was worth preserving. That concept is antithetical to religious, like Christian Southern Baptists, because it's a hippie liberal concept, right? You can't be an environmentalist. Nope.
That's a lot of interesting information.
Yeah, sorry, I just like info dumped all about. I know it's weird. People think like the vegetarian thing. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, your vegetarianism is what made you become an atheist, and it's not. It just like, I mean, it is and it's not. It's just that was okay. That was the thing when the church. So when I became a vegetarian, and I was met with such like vicious mockery, like. Genuinely, I was really heavily bullied in school, relentlessly bullied in school. And the church was, yeah. It was a time. And the church, I wasn't really bullied in church though. Like, that was its own separate space. But then when I became a vegetarian, I was literally getting bullied by like adults in the church. Like, what about the poor wheat that had to die for your sandwich? Like, said to me in like a mocking tone. God. And this was really frustrating, because to me, it's like, do you understand that I am making this choice because I want less suffering in the world, and you are mocking me for that? And that was like when the veil just finally really truly fell away, because I realized like, oh, all of you are so fucking full of shit. You're not actually serious. You are not actually serious about this. You're not serious about being like Jesus says to be kind and compassionate. You are not that. You do not give a shit. You do not care. And then realizing like, and as I was becoming more liberal, like, because I wasn't anti-gay, I wasn't those things, like all of this is just preserving all of this is just preserving like conservative Republican nationalism. Like, it's not actually about this. Anyway, it was this whole thing. Then I was that was only in 4 years, because I became a vegetarian freshman year of high school, and then graduated when I actually graduated pretty old. I was 19 when I graduated. In my early birthday, and I did like the first time I did kindergarten, I only did it for like 3 months. And then we lived in a national park for a while. Actually, we lived in a park for a while, and then we came back to school and we had to do kindergarten twice. So I was pretty old for my age when I graduated. And once I did and went to college, it was like, threw it all away. I'm an atheist. Fuck going to church. I'm not going to find one. Like, I'm ready to get rid of, I hate all of this. I'm ready to get rid of it.
So you're a vegetarian. What's stopping you from being vegan?
Nothing really. Convenience, I guess. Like, same thing. Like, right. I recognize like the hypocrisy. I recognize the hypocrisy of myself. It is just a lot. It is way easier navigating through the world as a vegetarian than it is as a vegan. Like a lot of stuff can have some animal products in it. It's like, okay, that's why you're trying to find stuff that's like truly vegan. For me, like I will make those choices when I'm out in a restaurant, but if it's like, oh, it was like cooked on the same grill as this, I'm like, I don't care. I just don't care. Like I'm not like, I care about my choices very much. I'm going to make them however I can, but there's just, there's some stuff I'm just not like, I'm not, I do try to make like, I don't like, I only buy, not just cage free. There's a difference between cage free and like pasture raised. If and when I buy eggs, I only buy like pasture raised eggs, you know, trying to get milk from like grass fed sources, that type of thing. But yeah, no, nothing's really, I know like that's why, like I am like, I recognize my limitations. I am not perfect. I should be a vegan, but I'm not.
And that's a struggle for me because I recognize that I think being a vegan is a ethically good choice.
Oh, it is.
Really good choice. Mm-hmm. And I struggle because I absolutely love meat. And I do not like that me eating meat is contributing to the harm of other beings on this planet. So the only excuse I have is just I love meat and I'm kind of lazy. And I haven't put in the work. I used to be, when I first became vegetarian, and I was a vegan for a while. Like there was a time where I really did try to be vegan, and again, it's different now. Vegan choices are way more accessible now. Like I personally, I'm a vegetarian who loves meat alternatives. There's some vegetarians who hate that shit. I enjoy it. Like seitan ham.
Yeah, like I love Beyond products. I really like those. Same. Tofurkey nuggets type stuff. Like I personally do like that stuff. When I first became vegetarian, it was hard to find things. Like it was not the idea that a fast food joint had a Beyond Burger, which they do now, was insane. That would never happen. So the landscape of choices was way different when I first became plant-based or meatless. And now, like when I first became vegetarian, I used to be really neurotic about like, there cannot be the slightest thing that's touching then it doesn't count. Then I am not pure, which if you think about purity and being like sin watching myself, there was a lot of leftover religious ideology that was impacting my ability to like navigate through the world, and now realize like I am not an all or nothing person now. I believe like it is better to be a better person than a perfect person. And agreed. I try to tell people like, if you feel like you can just do a meatless Monday. It's okay. You can start somewhere. You don't have to like remove just like make little choices here and there to like gradually. It does make an impact. Like it really does. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't believe in the purity Olympics for that kind of thing. Like if you were making active choices, not every single one of them, like it is still pretty impossible navigating under capitalism, right? Like that's not, you just don't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay. It's okay if you like if somebody was a vegan, but then they had a steak dinner once a month, like that's not the end of the world. No, I just don't. No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't cheat with any meat. Like I do not eat any meat, but that's not, there are different reasons that people abstain from it. Eating meat would feel like eating it would feel like eating a dog to me. Like I'm not going to eat a cat or
that's
a dog.
Fair, yeah. I've definitely cut down on my meat intake. I used to eat steak and chicken daily, especially when I was doing like a strongman, but now it's not as often. But then I feel like, have you ever heard of Fogo de Chao or Texas Day Churrasco? Or
yeah, we have one here in Vegas. Yeah,
I feel like once in a while when I go to that, I undo all the work I've done because I just eat limitless steak, and I'm like, crap, I haven't eaten meat in a month, but now I just undid it all.
I feel that way so becoming plant-based and not having children are the two singular most impactful things that you can do as a person, as a consumer, as a individual to impact climate change. Like the two greatest things you can do is not have kids and not eat meat, like as a personal. But another big thing is to like not fly all the time, and I fly all the time. So to me, it's like, okay, I got sterilized 2 years ago. I'm not having kids. Hopefully that cancels out the fact that I fly all the time. Like, I'm probably just at this point, it's a wash. I'm like an average person.
You are incredibly self-aware of all your decisions.
I've always been that way. I don't know why. I think autism maybe. Hypersensitive, hyper aware of my impact on others.
So, if you don't mind my asking, on the autism spectrum, like,
yes.
How does it impact you on a day-to-day basis, or what affects you?
Yeah, so my twin sister helps run a program for autistic adults to become more independent. And she was the one who approached me about my diagnosis years ago. And it was the weirdest sensation when she approached me about it, because, and this is probably going to be something that if anybody is listening who is autistic can kind of relate to, especially as an autistic woman, like, it was both the most like wonderful and horrible thing that I had ever heard to me, in that like everything made sense, and that made me really happy and really sad at the same time. It's like, oh, I'm not a magical changeling child that's part of a fairy realm, and that's why I'm so special and different and weird. I'm just autistic. Like, that's like I'm just like, it's really hard to describe the emotion, like how that made me feel emotionally. But like, if you've heard that like autistic people have really strong, some of them, we're not a monolith, right? There is a spectrum, right, of that really intense ideas about justice, and realizing on how much that impacted me navigating through life, like doing the right thing. When I say I care about rules, I absolutely do not care about rules that I think are dumb. I care about the rules that I think increase joy and decrease suffering.
I completely agree.
Like, I'm not like, fuck the police. Like, I am not, fuck the government. Like, I am not a rule follower in that way. My rule system of, if I think it like helps or harms, that's where I feel like my TISM really like sense of justice, if that were to say. And then like sensory seeking like impacts like the reason I feel like it's impacted a lot of why I've chosen the career I have, my sexuality, my relationships, my home life, of creating like my sensory heaven, treasure, place, palace that I want to live. Sorry.
All right, question from Detroit Atheist Queen.
Yeah, I love her.
What made you decide to test that you are autistic, or have you been diagnosed as a child?
Yes, I have not. I was not diagnosed as a child. I was just called a freak. That's kind of the experience of a lot of autistic people. We're just called losers and freaks and weirdos.
I feel that.
And as an autistic woman, like men get to be diagnosed. That is not something women, especially because we're way better at masking, or that the social consequences are much more severe if we're not masking, excuse me. But it was my twin who approached me for the diagnosis. I have not been officially diagnosed by a professional.
Same.
I don't really care about that. I mean, like I care in some ways, but it's time consuming, it's expensive.
And it's not going to change anything.
At least in my opinion. Time consuming, it's hard to get it. It's hard to like get someone, like it can take years. It is, again, expensive. I don't care. I don't want to spend the money on it. Like if it was free, sure. But from everything that, like, I trust my twin's opinion. Like this has been her full-time job for, I don't know, a decade at this point. Like this is her specialty. I trust her opinion. And once you kind of like accept it about yourself, realize like my entire social circle is neurodivergent. Like if you are neurotypical, you are in the minority. And this autistic experience of making friends with other autistic people and vibing with that and understanding like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just that I was in environments and around people who didn't understand the way I communicate, and my sensory needs were not being met in those spaces. And now that I can go into spaces where it is accommodated, I'm shining and thriving and growing and feel happy and wonderful.
Are you ADHD as well, or just autistic?
I want to say yes. Again, not officially diagnosed, but years and years and years of studying and researching and reading and speaking to professionals. And because with my work with RFR, like I do talk to, I mean, just casually, but talking to other therapists, talking to psychologists, talking to people who do this professionally, like it's, to me, it seems very clear, and it makes a lot of sense on the AU. So it's the ODHD is the thing. Autistic
AUD. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense to me. Plus, I mean, talk about having a bunch of different special interests. I'm covered over.
My struggle is I cannot read sarcasm very well unless
it's I'm terrible at it.
Obvious or dry humor.
Yeah, like, I really struggle with that.
Yeah, people like say things on my Facebook, and I'll be like, "What the fuck?"
What, really?
I'll take it seriously and say, "Yeah," and I'll say something, and my girlfriend will be like, "It's a joke, Ethan."
It's a joke. I know, and it makes me real. And then I get mad because then I feel like you did something to make me look stupid, and I get a little frustrated. Of like, I'm not dumb. I just didn't pick up the sarcasm.
It sucks, and it makes me feel so stupid. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I swear.
Like, I'm not dumb. I just didn't get this. I just didn't pick up. Yeah, really dry humor or whatever. I spent a lot of time in England, and dry humor is like way more of a thing in England. Also, taking the piss is like a thing, and I understand conceptually, but it just felt like I was being bullied the whole time I was there. Like, we're just gonna make fun of you this whole time. That's how we show you we like you. It's like, but I don't like that. That seems mean to me. Like, that's mean. Like, you're not. I don't know. It just seems mean.
So in the entertainment industry, what is like your favorite passion, or how do you like to entertain people the most?
I love go-go dancing is probably my favorite thing to do. It's just so much fun. I love the elaborate costumes I get to wear. I love being on stage for like thousands of people, and I've been able to perform with really amazing DJs. And I love, like, I did one of my big show. I had a big show a couple months ago for a video game convention, and the after party I got to go dance to like 80 EDM remixes of Zelda music, and I am a hardcore.
No way!
In fact,
can you send me some on Facebook DMs? Yeah. I would kill for that.
Any other Zelda fan would like to know the news that dropped today? Would you like to know what Nintendo Direct came out with today?
Ocarina of Time is being remade.
Yes, which I had the original cartridge release of Ocarina of Time before they changed the music in the Fire Temple. And I just think that's my little nerdy thing. I have the original cartridge release. I have both cartridge releases, actually, because of course I have more Zelda merch than anybody I know. And I have, you're going to have to see a bit of my filthy studio. I'm sorry. That poster right here, this is one of the original Majora's Mask promotion posters for Majora's Mask.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have some Zelda. This is a Zelda painting I'm working on from Skyward Sword. I have like a huge Zelda painting somewhere. Yeah, I'm really into Zelda.
You're not by chance a Smash Brothers fan, are you?
No, I don't play that style. I didn't have enough friends to play those games anyway.
Oh, okay.
Again, the autistic experience. I did not have enough friends to. I had like one or two or whatever, but I wasn't invited to like. I also lived on a farm. It was not the experience of in the 90s when you could just like go to like walk to a neighbor's house or play games. Like we lived in the country. It was not, you could not walk to like a friend's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to backtrack a little bit, before we jump into relationship dynamics, you mentioned your dad is a Christian Republican non-Trump supporter, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you debate, conversate with him often, challenge him?
No. We do not. It is untouchable subject. We just don't. We have a wonderful relationship. I love my father. Daddy is I love my daddy so much. I love him. We do not talk about that at all.
Okay.
It's just that's just how, and it makes me sad. I wish we could, and I wish we could, but it's just not something. No, we don't talk about it.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
So how did you go from being monogamous and move over to poly? And
right. No, it's a great question.
That's a big thing.
when I moved to Las Vegas, I packed up my minivan and my cat and I drove out here. I didn't know anybody here. I did not have a job. I did not have a place to live. It was like, Mom, I'm going to run away and join the circus. Bye. But my boyfriend at the time we lived together for a little bit, like as we started dating in Tennessee, and he was going to finish up his like work stint. He was working for like this party rental company. So it was during the summer when I moved. So he was going to finish that up and then come out and join me. And he did. There were already, looking back on it, it had already been profoundly abusive before we moved out before he joined me in Vegas, but that abuse continued. It was financial, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, like the whole gamut. It was absolutely fucking terrible. And really, really violent, really not great stuff. And
That's
finally,
terrible.
yeah, it was awful. And he also, of course, he cheated on me. And I had 2 monogamous relationships beforehand, and I was cheated on in both of them. My first boyfriend was fucking my best friend for a few months, and we started dating, and then he started fucking my best friend within the first month that we were, and he was my first boyfriend. Yeah, it was not great. It was not awesome. So when I found that out, it was like whole world turned upside down. That sucks. And then the one who was with me in Vegas, because this is my second long-term monogamous relationship. I even asked if he wanted to open up the relationship because he wasn't working. I was working like 5 jobs to support us. And the entire time he was living with me in Vegas, he wasn't working, didn't have a job.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was really embarrassing. I was like paying for his World of Warcraft account because I'm that type of girlfriend. And he was just, and like I did all the cooking and cleaning. And it's so cringy. Anyway.
So you did literally everything.
Literally, your model girlfriend is paying for your WoW account and you don't work. And that's this mother, when I did not have, there was a time where I didn't have a car because my minivan, the van I drove out with my cat, it broke down. And so I was taking the bus to work and he would not meet me at the bus stop. So like at 3 a.m. when I was getting off at work and like catcalled and harassed.
Seriously?
I'm not kidding.
What a douche.
Right, piece of shit. So when I finally, I thought about, I even approached opening up the relationship because I finally there was this really violent incident and I said this is not sustainable. Like you have to find a job, you have to go to work. I was able to help get him a job at a seasonal resort in Utah. And so I asked hey, you're going to be in a dorm room with a bunch of other young adults. And this was after this horrific, suicide attempt, violent thing, assault. And I was like, I want you to be open and to explore anything you want. I would like that for you. Would you like to open up the relationship so that if that opportunity arises for you, that you can seek connection with somebody? And he called me a slut and a whore. And how dare I suggest such a thing? I'm like, okay, great. I guess we'll be monogamous then. I did not want to be non-monogamous. I just wanted to give him an out. And then he cheated on me.
Quick clarifying question. When you say open it up, did you mean full poly or just open it up for him to be sexual or intimate with other people?
I didn't even have the language at the time. I don't even know if I even knew the term polyamorous at the time. I guess I meant anything, just sexual dating. I don't know. I was so fucked up at that time and I was so just desperate for him to be okay. I guess I meant more sexually. I guess I just meant anything. If he was going to have a connection, but yes, definitely sexually. But that obviously I would need to know because I need to know if you're having sex with somebody else, because if we aren't using barriers with each other, because I have an IUD with my birth control, I need to know that because that's
absolutely.
So I need to know that. Anyway, again, called me a whore, went ahead and cheated on me. And when I found out he cheated on me and I was able to break free from that, really, I finally, it was the last straw. It was really wonderful to be able to get out of that relationship. My twin sister helped me kick him out of my apartment. It was great. And he has since been arrested for DV for something else, color me shocked. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, what a pile
Right.
of dog shit.
Yeah, he sucks. So it was after I broke up with him and I was finally single for the first time in my life since I started dating at like 19.
Okay.
And I was 20. God, this was in 2015. I would have to do the math. Whatever. I was 24, 25. I'm not good at math. I went to art school for a reason. So I was single for the first time. And I had been cheated on in very intense ways in both of my monogamous relationships. And I was also hot finally. Like I have what's known as ugly duckling syndrome. I was teased and bullied. As you said, I was bullied. I was bullied relentlessly in school for being like this weird, ugly freak. And then when I became an entertainer and a model, I was like, oh, turns out I have some Riz. I've got Riz. I'm hot. Okay. I want to have fun. I didn't start having sex till I was like 19. Like there was no partying, Baptists don't drink. Like I didn't go to house party. Like I did not do any of this classic, like youthful sexual exploration that a lot of youth do because I was raised religious and in purity culture and all that stuff. So finally, for the first time, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try having a hoe summer. And I did. And it was amazing and it was fun. But I decided that any of these people that I hook up with or date, like I'm making it crystal clear from the beginning, like we are not exclusive. I'm not going to be owned by anybody ever again. Like nobody's going to have single ownership of me. It doesn't matter who it is. At least not right now. I am not going, like I seek intimacy. I seek connection. I want to be able to have sex with people. I have sexual desires, but I am not going to be like monogamously tied to anybody. And that is when I went to a video game convention for the sole purpose of finding a gamer boyfriend that I could hook up with. Because I at least I need to be able to have common ground. Again, super nerd, wanted to find that. And I found my partner, David. We're still together. I found my partner, David, in a tournament room. And we went and got drinks and we really hit it off. And he was non-monogamous as well. And so it was the first time I was with somebody who didn't have any entitlement issues or jealousy. And when I said hey, just so you know, I can't be your girlfriend in that way, I'm not exclusive. He's like, oh yeah, I don't want that anyway. I want to keep dating you. I want to keep being with you, but that's not what I want. And so finding that person and realizing I didn't know that was something that somebody could really do. Okay, this sounds awesome. And then I started dating, went on a couple dates, stood up on a couple dates, had some bad dates. And then I met my fiance, Nick. And when I met him, I told him the whole spiel hey, we can start dating. I hope we hit it off. I'm not monogamous. I'm not exclusive to you. If that's something that is not okay with you, that's fine. Absolutely. We can be friends. No hard feelings. You do not have to. He was like, no, I'm willing to explore that. I've been married and I've only been in monogamous relationships as well. And I've only ever been cheated on. So maybe something new would work. And we're literally getting married in 25 days.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there were definitely growing pains of internal growing pains of navigating my own feelings with stuff and deconstructing compulsory monogamy script takes a lot of work. But there was a lot of it that really felt natural to me that this relationship structure is very appealing to people with autism and with ADHD because it just is there's just so many reasons why. But it's just been my life and really awesome. And when I first became polyamorous, I always thought the first few years I was oh, I'm polyamorous, but I could be monogamous if I wanted to. I totally could. That's not a problem. I now know this as a fundamental truth to myself. I could not ever be monogamous again, ever. It's just not who I am.
Well, I can't blame you. The relationship, can't talk. The relationship I'm in right now is my first non-monogamous relationship. We aren't poly, we're swingers, but at the same time, we both need a connection with the person. It can't just be some attractive dumbass.
Okay, so you're swingers plus. You're swingers upgraded.
There you go. Yeah. And honestly,
swingers, I love you. I appreciate. I am not a swinger. I'm not a swinger.
Oh, it's not for everyone, but yeah, like I would say 80% of the swingers parties, clubs, or private parties we go to, we actually don't have sex. Most of the time it ends up like in cuddle puddles or just
it's the same for kink parties. Like, because I'm a kinkster. I'm super into BDSM and kink. Same thing for that. Like, it's like, honestly, the amount of actual penetrative sex that is going on in a dungeon is pretty low. Like, it's pretty low. Mostly, again, it's sensory seeking. Like, mostly it's just a social hangout. There are some scenes like, you know, flogging or whatever, like impact play scenes. Some people are just getting walked around on a dog leash and that's just what they want to do that night, and that's great. But there's a lot that's just like chill social. Again, actual penetrative sex is it's just lower on things that is happening at like a dungeon, to me, in my experience.
Yeah. So then let me ask you this, because perhaps you can educate me a little bit on it. I don't believe in kink shaming in any way, except there is one kink I do have a major issue with.
Oh, I can't wait to have an opinion about this.
Yeah, no, I'm open to learning. I have an issue with, now, in a non-sexual fashion, I don't care about age play. But in a sexual fashion,
I think it's going to be age play.
What'd you say?
I said it's going to be age play. It's going to be race play or age play. I do.
So, I mean, I can't imagine like wanting to sleep with a woman that's pretending she's 12 years old.
Acting like she's a child. Okay.
That bothers me.
I am not an age player. And if you do the BDSM test or whatever, like the spectrum test, it's like, it's at a fat 0% for me. It is, there is the phrase, your kink is not my kink, and that's okay. I don't necessarily, I don't want to kink shame either. At the end of the day, for me, as long as it's between consenting adults, like, I don't care. That being said, there are, of course, some kinks that like I have personal opinions about. You learn to separate. I can have a personal opinion about something and it can make me feel a type of way. That does not mean I believe there should be any legislation about it, or think you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, for example, and it's a trigger warning, it's about to get gross for people. I'm so sorry if this is your kink, and I'm not shaming. Scat fetish is a thing.
I knew you were going to go there.
I can't fathom that.
Me neither.
That repulses and disgusts me, as it does most. But as we know, when we think about the psychology, if you get more into psychology of kink, there are parts of your brain that like disgust and arousal can be overlapped. And that is part of the reason why it works. Like for some reason, excuse me, these things that are supposed to disgust you trigger some sort of arousal instead. There's also a profound amount to be said about desiring what you are not supposed to desire, desiring the forbidden. And that's sexual stuff 101. I mean, desiring, like, whoa, I'm not supposed to like this, but I do anyway. Like, how exciting. That's really, really basic, low level, not even just kink, but just like sexual theory. So that, like, I don't ever want to be around it. I don't want to see it. I want nothing to do with it at all. I think it's fucking disgusting and repulsive, and I can't fathom enjoying that. However, I do not believe that there should be any rules or laws saying you can't pursue those things should you, consenting adult, want to do that. That is where I feel about age play. Like, while I may not understand, I say that there is a lot of age play, and because I know some age players, because that's way more common, right, than like scat fetish. Thank fuck. There are a lot of age players that I know that for them it overlaps with sexuality, but a lot of it is non-sexual for them, and they just want to have like a regression to where they feel safe and comfortable and protected. For some people, they had good childhoods, and for some people, they did not have good childhoods. And for a lot of them who did not have good childhoods, it feels like a reclaiming for them of a space that they were never allowed to explore. It's complicated. I definitely I would talk to an H player about it. Like I get that's not my kink and it's not what I do. It's a 0% for me, but I know some people who enjoy it, and okay, that's I don't necessarily want to be like if I was at a dungeon and somebody was like I see some things like pacifiers or whatever, like raves and stuff, it's like club culture, candy culture type stuff. I would probably, if I was in a dungeon around some intense age play, I would just remove myself from the situation. Like you just learn to like, I'm just going to go somewhere else then. Like, I don't want to like, it's not my kink. I don't want to be around it, which is fine. You just learn how to like, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Right. You mentioned a Frasier kink. What is that?
Oh, wait. Did I? I probably did not enunciate my words correctly. Do you remember the rest of the context of the sentence? Because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you said something about age play, and then you said kink, Frasier kink.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what could sound like Frasier. Age play. Something I would have to go back and listen to it, and then I would be able to tell you what I was trying to say.
So there is a question. I really don't even want to ask it from this person, but in good faith, I'm going to assume this person is meaningfully asking it. Are atheists so they don't feel judged by God for sexual oppression?
Are atheists so they don't feel judged by God for sexual expression? Are atheists? So is the question, am I an atheist? Do I have a non-belief in God so I don't have to feel guilty about the sex that I want to have?
That's what it sounds like.
Is that what we're saying? Mm-hmm. That is not why I am an atheist. I am an atheist because I remain unconvinced of a God. There is insufficient evidence for me. However, this is my own personal take. Even if there was evidence of the Christian God, I still would not fucking worship that God because the system itself is immoral and unethical, and I fundamentally disagree with it. If Jesus came down to earth today and said, yep, all that stuff in the Bible is true, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. It's immoral and wrong. It's not a good system. I don't believe in the system. I don't believe in eternal damnation. That is a bad idea. And even if it was true, I reject the bad idea. I am not an atheist because I want to have freaky deaky queer sex all the time. It's a bonus, and I do enjoy those things, but that's not why I don't believe in God. And I became an atheist. I actually, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I was an atheist when I was still a virgin. So do with that what you will.
You became an atheist at a younger age than me. It took me a while.
No, I was 19. I was really struggling with like a non-belief in God before 19, but yeah, by the time I was 19, yeah, no, I was thinking of the timeline. Yeah, I was absolutely an atheist. I even used the A word to describe myself. I called myself an atheist before I had sex, for sure.
No problem. Yeah, so for me, the deconstructing I had to do, I grew up in a very toxic masculine time, so I had a lot of hang-ups. So
how old are you?
Old enough.
Because I wanted to like, what's the time period? Were you a kid in the 90s? Like, what's the?
I was like a kid in the 80s.
Wait, no way. Wait, how old are you?
43.
You know what? If you want to be secret about that, that's fine. I was born in 89, so okay. Well, 82. Okay, so that means you're at least my age.
Yes, I'm 7 years older than you.
What? Okay, what fountain of youth, portrait of Dorian Gray you got going on? What the fuck?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, all right. So yeah. Remember whenever we used the word metrosexual to describe any man who like bothered to wash his own asshole? I mean, that was a time. I remember that. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
So when I asked my girlfriend about being a swinger, at first I was okay with her sleeping with other women and okay with me sleeping with other women.
Oh yeah, the OPP, that good old OPP. One penis policy.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. It was so
Yeah,
stupid, but I was so
exactly. Yeah.
insecure. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
Because I had this view that it would make me, I would feel demasculinated.
Mhm.
And then like one day
Mhm.
a flip just switched, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
What am
Like
I doing?
she's not she's not gonna leave me just because some other guy uh pleases her. And what does it matter? Like I should enjoy her getting pleasure.
Right.
Like so I let all that shit go, and now it's like, well, what the fuck ever. I don't give a shit. Sleep with
Right.
who you want to
Right.
sleep with.
There's so much freedom in not caring. There's so
Right.
much
There
freedom
is.
when you like deconstruct these concepts. You're like, oh my God, I just feel like, and a lot of those things have a cascade effect of falling away. Like once you deconstruct, like OPP is also transphobic, right? Like it's misogynistic, it's transphobic. And then once you like deconstruct, like, well, what does sex mean? What does gender mean? What does like I realize like the world is my own making and I get to decide who I am in it and navigate it for myself. And I all of these rules and these social constructs were kind of like made up by centuries old racist pieces of sexist shit. And I don't have to follow their rules and I get to decide what I want to do for my own life and that and what makes me happy. And that's, cool.
Yeah. I love the sex positivity. I do. I love your Facebook because you're
Oh yeah.
intelligent, well spoken. You break things down so well. You speak so clearly, and you're
Without AI, might
confident.
I add, can I just say, I really would like to make that clarification again. I do not use AI to write anything I ever post, and I'm seeing it
Someone
more
thought
and more
that?
often.
I never thought you used AI.
Well,
People
I've
have
seen more.
accused
I
you of
have
that?
seen. Sorry, not to interrupt. I've seen there are some more atheist content creators that I have seen who are using AI to like write their YouTube scripts, to write their like posts, and it's
That's
really
just
pissing me off.
lazy. That
It's
is
fucking lazy.
intellectually lazy.
It is intellectually, and it's intellectually dishonest. Like, why would I care? Like, if I wanted to know what ChatGPT had to say about, I don't know, the way that women are presented in Ecclesiastes, then I would just ask ChatGPT that. I'm not. Why do I care about what you? Anyway, I.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of this. You might know this or not, but do you know there is like a minor, I don't want to say feud, if feud's the right word, but major disagreements between the swingers community and the kink community?
I'm very aware because I'm on the Capulets and the Montagues. I'm on the king side of that conversation. I'm really listen. Yes, I'm painfully aware, and I don't. This is a good bridging of ideas because I don't want to be disrespectful to you as a swinger, but I
You can say
very
what you
aggressively
want. Go ahead.
I am not a swinger.
And that's fine.
Yes, the swinging scene, I'm sure, just like the kink scene, has a vast spectrum where, depending on where you are, I don't know what city you're based out of.
Chicagoland.
Chicago. Oh, Chicago. Yeah. So, okay, bigger area. I have a lot of issue with a lot of swingers. Anytime I've been in those spaces, which I have been in I've been in swinger clubs both to do like a gig. I like do body painting at swingers clubs sometimes. I'm hired to like do body art. I've also just gone to like hang out with some friends or whatever, like once or twice. It's very rare that I'm going to a swinger club to like actually like participate in anything because it's not my scene. I find that swingers tend to be, and again, I'm not.
You don't have to preface it. I don't get offended.
They tend to be more conservative. They tend to
be. I don't get that. Why?
They tend to be more conservative. They fetishize bisexual or pansexual women, and I am one of them. Yep. I am not your fucking unicorn. And listen, I am a free love kind of girly. Like I'm down. I'm like DTF. Like I'm down to have fun, but like I'm not. I don't feel like I'm seen as a sexual accessory when I'm in the kink scene versus like swingers like see me as this little toy. And that's not what, like, I want that if I'm consenting to that type of dehumanization within a kink space, but like, that's not what swingers are doing to me. And so I'm not into that. I don't like how cis normative it is. That's like, you have men and men have to pay this and women are free. It's to me, like, the kink scene is way more queer. I want to be in a queer space. swinging, it does not feel like a queer space to me. I mean, women are allowed to be queer with each other, but there's not a lot of like male on male gay activity happening because
it's frowned upon. It's very frowned upon.
Yes. Yeah. Which, ew, I don't like when I say ew to being frowned upon. Like I want to be in queer spaces. I don't want to be, and a lot of them are just these like, I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive. All I just see these fucking basic bitches, like these absolute like Ed Hardy spray tan frat boy, like do you know what I mean? Of like, it feels like being in a frat house, and that place is dangerous and repulsive to me.
I agree. And being the activist I get in arguments a lot with male swingers because and I don't want to paint them as the majority because there are a lot of amazing people in the community. We've been fortunate to surround ourselves by the good people who don't just think of you as an object, don't just want to use you, are completely okay with the night ending without sex. And it's not just about that. That's the people we try to find because none of us want to feel used. We actually had a very negative experience in our first kink event. Well, I shouldn't say event, kink invitation to this couple's house. And we felt like total objects because within 5 minutes of walking to their house, barely sip my drink, the guy's like, okay, you guys want to go downstairs now? I'm like, can I like finish my drink first?
Yeah.
The second I finish my drink, okay, let's go downstairs. And we're like, reluctantly like, okay. And within seconds of walking into his dungeon, he grabs my girlfriend. Okay, I'm going to tie you up. And she went with it. And I was like, really uncomfortable. And then after, like, I ended up stopping with the woman because I was just like, this is just not setting right with me. I don't like it. I feel like I'm being used right now.
Right.
And when they finished, we talked for probably 2 to 3 minutes. They're like, okay, we're going to bed. And I really wanted to look at them and be like, fuck you guys. Like, that's so shitty.
Like you even did aftercare then.
No, there was no aftercare.
Okay, then I don't care about your opinion. You're a bad kinkster. No, bye.
Like, and in fact, the next day, we get a group text message from him just saying, can I see the bruises I left on your ass?
Is it Mr. Dommerly Alpha Dommerly Dom? I've learned how to crack a whip in 1982, and I've made it my personality and everybody else's problem ever since. Type shit. No,
we never spoke to them again. Major.
No, there are absolutely kinksters in the scene where it's just like a big fuck you from me. I don't want anything to do with you. You were gross to me. I don't like you. Like, get the fuck away from me. Like, I don't like if you really getting into some kink theory, like the Gorians. Go away.
Gorians?
Yeah, it's like this old guard, very OG. If you think of like kink history, like back when kink sexuality first started, really, I mean, it's been around for obviously centuries, but like organized out BDSM kinksters in, if you think of like the 60s, 70s, and then 80s, it was based off, like the term comes from like a science fiction novel. Like there's so much to go into it. Like Gorians don't believe in switches. Like you are either one or the other.
Oh, okay.
You're either a dominant or you are a submissive. You cannot be both.
Why though? That doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what I mean. Their opinions are fucking stupid, and I don't care about what they have to say. And because I'm a switch, so I don't care. Anyway, it's just like they just, you know, there's just deference rules that they also follow that I think are fucking stupid. And then I don't like. It's like, oh, you will approach me. I am already Master Dom. It's like, I don't know you from Adam, so I am not going to give you an honorific. I'm not going to refer to you as Mr. Daddly Dom Dom just because you say so. I don't fucking know who you are. Maybe you should be crawling on your knees to me. No.
Well, we are over time. Is there anything else you wanted to say in closing or anything you wanted to promote coming up aside from your getting married, which I want to say congratulations and good luck.
Yay. Thanks. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's coming right up. Oh my God, I have so much shit to do. I will be giving a lecture all about this topic, all about kink, autism and kink, consent, and persecuted sexuality under Project 2025, which is anything that is not missionary married for procreation's sake. I'm going to be giving a lecture. I'm coming up with a title. It's not going to be that long. I'm going to be talking about all those things. I'm one of the keynote speakers at NanoCon this year. So
I'm trying to make it there.
Oh
Fingers
my goodness.
crossed.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I've been working on this lecture for years and years and years. So I started it years ago. And every year I like add something new. And then I gave a presentation about polyamory last year. And then Patrick, who organizes the convention, approached me about talking about like, you know, we'd love you to do another talk, and wanted me to get, because people are just really, really, really thirsty to hear about sex and sexuality. As we know, like with my work, recovering from religion, it's one of the biggest issues that people are deconstructing on, like figuring out sexuality, figuring out relationships. So I said, absolutely, I've got one that I'm working on for a long time. So I cannot wait to talk about it. I don't know how I'm going to condense it down to the 45 minutes I probably have, but I'm going to try. So yeah, that's going to be this summer. To find me, to follow me, I'm sort of on Instagram, not really, kind of. My username is the same across all of my social media. I'm on Twitch. I am also I'm on Facebook, but don't send me a friend request. Just use the follow feature. Like, if you send me a friend request, it's going to sit in the bin. Don't, just follow, and then you can engage that way. I will not. And also, please, from the bottom of my heart, please do not send me a Facebook message asking for relationship advice before you, in fact, wait. No, wait. I got to put it in the chat. Hold on. Because people ask me this every time. And I have this document for the sole purpose of circumventing this thing. I have a document a Google Doc that I made to pair with my lecture on polyamory. I have expanded it to start talking about what I'm going to talk about with kink. It is a public Google Doc. If you have a relationship question, go through all of those sources first. It's like books, YouTube accounts, websites. Please go all through all that before coming into my DMs and asking me, how do I deal with jealousy? Please, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed psychologist. I'm not any of those things. I just am just some guy. So hold on. It's
all right.
Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you don't have to say sorry.
Chat right now. That should be it. Okay. It should be public. And it should, all right. Did it go through? I think it did.
Wait, was it a link?
Yeah, it's a link in the YouTube chat, and it's my public Google Doc.
Send it to me it won't, since you're not a moderator, it won't come in. Do you see the private chat?
Okay, right.
To the right? Yeah, I think it should be to the right, private chat. If you send it there, I can then post the link.
Yes. And that's going to have, so this is currently being expanded because, again, I started this to pair with my lecture about polyamory. So it's got books and YouTube channels and websites and all that good stuff. And I'm adding more to it to talk about kink, autism, which is a new field of study, by the way. I mean, the link between kink and autism is a brand new field of study that we're only just now starting to see research coming out about.
Interesting. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to read your document.
Oh yeah. And again, I'll be working on this.
I won't hop in your DMs asking for relationship advice.
I just get it all the time. I get it. And it's like, it's not that I can't help you. But I'm not qualified. I'm just I could give my learned experiences, but I'm not a fucking life coach. I don't charge for a session. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not any of those things.
That's fair. All right. Well, thank you to all my patrons, especially Cindy PLAZA. Glenda, thank you so much for being a guest on my show. Don't disconnect just yet. Just give me a moment.
Oh, yeah. The Riverside thing. Oh, I know.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Bye.